Why dogs bark and curbing excessive barking. No one should expect a dog to never bark. That's as unreasonable as expecting a baby to never talk. But some dogs bark excessively. If that's a controversy in your home, the primary step is deciding what causes your dog to bark an excessive amount of. Once you recognize why they're barking, you'll be able to start to treat their barking problem. Why dogs bark. Dog barking is one style of vocal communication that dogs use, and it can mean various things betting on the case. Here are some reasons why dogs bark. Territorial protective. When someone or an animal comes into a vicinity your dog considers their territory, that always triggers excessive barking. Because the threat gets closer, the barking often gets louder. Your dog will look alert and even aggressive during this kind of barking. Alarm fear. Some dogs bark at any noise or object that catches their attention, or startles them. This will happen anywhere, not just in their home range. Their ears are going to be back and tail tucked after they are in a very state of fear. Boredom, loneliness. Dogs are pack animals. Dogs left alone for long periods, whether within the house or within the yard, can get bored or sad and infrequently will bark because they are unhappy. Greeting play. Dogs often bark when greeting people or other animals. It's usually a cheerful bark, accompanied with tail wags, and sometimes jumping. Attention seeking. Dogs often bark after they want something, like going outside, playing, or getting a treat. Separation anxiety. Compulsive barking. Dogs with separation anxiety often bark excessively when left alone. They also usually exhibit other symptoms further, like pacing, destructiveness, depression, and inappropriate elimination. Compulsive barkers seem to bark just to listen to the sound of their voices. They also often make repetitive movements additionally, like running in a circle or along a fence. How to treat excessive barking. Getting your dog to bark less will take time, work, practice, and consistency. It won't happen overnight, but with proper techniques and time, you'll see progress. Here are some tips to recollect as you begin your efforts to manage your dog's barking. Shouting stimulates your dog to bark more because they think you're joining in. That the first rule is to talk calmly and firmly, but don't yell. Most dogs don't know what you would like when you're yelling at them to shut up. So train your dog to know the word quiet. Here are 2 methods when your dog is barking. Say quiet during a calm, firm voice. Wait until they stop barking, whether or not it's just to require a breath, then praise them and provides them a treat. Just use caution to never reward them while they're barking. Eventually they're going to determine that if they stop barking at the word quiet they get a treat and make it a delicious treat, like chicken, to form it worth over the barking. Alternatively, you'll teach your dog to speak. Once they're doing that reliably, signal them to prevent barking with a unique command, like quiet. While holding your finger to your lips, dogs often acquire body signals faster than voice commands. Practice these commands once they are calm. And in time they must learn to prevent barking at your command, even once they want to bark at something. A tired dog could be a quiet dog. If your dog barks when alone, tire them out before you go. Take an extended walk or run, play ball, or take a visit to the dog park before leaving. Don't allow problems to travel on and on. The longer a dog does something, the more ingrained it becomes. Barking can give dogs an adrenaline rush, which makes the barking pleasant. And allowing a dog to bark in certain situations, like when the mailman arrives, can eventually make a dog aggressive in those situations. What if your dog gets out someday, because the mail is being delivered? Cope with barking problems as quickly as possible. Some medical problems can cause excessive barking, from bee stings to neurological disease to ongoing pain. Older pets can develop a type of canine senility that causes excessive vocalizations. It's always a decent idea to possess a pet checked by a veterinarian to take care there's no medical reason for a controversy. Once you recognize why your dog is barking, you'll be able to start functioning on ways to decrease their annoying habit. Territorial protective alarm fear. Because this kind of barking is usually motivated by fear or a perceived threat to their territory or people, it will be lessened by limiting what your dog sees. If they're in an exceedingly fenced yard, use solid wood rather than chain fencing. Indoors, limit access to windows and doors or cover them with an opaque film. Boredom loneliness. If your dog barks excessively while you're gone, you wish to produce more activities or companionship to stay them from being lonely or bored. Bringing an outside dog inside will lessen the noise impact on neighbors and supply extra security for your home. It's also safer, because dogs left alone outside can face theft, escapes, poisoning, harassment, and other dangers. But dogs can still bark inside if bored. So if your dog barks while you're at work all day, get someone to run your dog or play with them for a minimum of an hour on a daily basis. Providing something for your dog to try and do during the day can also help. Try leaving out a pair of food dispensing toys, which are available different shapes and sizes. These can keep them busy for several hours, then they'll probably take a nap. Dogs that bark all night should be brought indoors. Dogs quickly learn to sleep quietly inside, and are added protection for your family. You also can drop your pet off at doggy daycare 2 or 3 days per week, or take up agility, obedience, or another active kind of dog training. Greeting play. To prevent a dog from going into a barking frenzy anytime you penetrate or the doorbell rings, you must teach them other behaviors. A way is to coach your dog to travel to a spot and stay there when the door opens. It's best if they will see the door, but not be too near it. Pick a spot and practice getting your dog to travel there and stay, but don't touch the door yet. Use plenty of treats and praise, making it a game. Once your pet is doing this reliably, start opening the door while they're in their spot. Once you'll open the door and your dog will stay in their spot, have someone actually are available the door. In fact, your dog will break from the spot initially, but with time and practice, they'll learn to remain in their spot when the door opens and guests are available. Never reward your dog for barking at you after you fall into place. Don't pet them or even make eye contact, until your dog stops barking and sits quietly. Then acknowledge and praise them. Attention seeking. Never reward barking. If your dog barks after they want water, and you fill the dish, you've taught them to bark to urge what they require. If they bark to travel outside, it's the identical. So teach them to ring a bell you tied to the door handle to travel out. Bang the water dish before filling it, and perhaps they'll start pushing it with their nose to form the identical noise. Find ways for your dog to speak without barking. If they bark and you see their dish is empty, wait some minutes, go do something else, then fill it, in order that they won't know their barking was effective. Remember to not scold your pet. For a dog, that's still considered attention. The secrets to ignore your dog and what they require, until they stop barking. Separation anxiety, compulsive barking. Separation anxiety and compulsive barking are both difficult to treat, and may be handled with the assistance of a veterinary behaviorist or a licensed applied animal behaviorist. Dogs with these problems often need drug therapy to assist them cope while learning new, more acceptable behaviors. Bark collars. Do you have to use one? There are a variety of products on the market that promise to prevent barking quickly. There are a variety of products on the market that promise to prevent barking quickly. Collars that persist. Your dog can deliver audible or ultrasonic corrections to your dog, but they aren't effective on all dogs. Citronella spraying collars often work, but some dogs learn they will run them out of spray, so bark at will. Shock collars, which deliver a painful jolt to your pet, can cause pets harm, and should make dogs aggressive, especially if they associate the person or animal they're barking at with the pain. Other off-collar devices can work well if your dog barks during a set area. Bark-activated water sprayers or noisemakers put on, once they devour barking, shooting water at your pet or emitting an irritating sound. These can sometimes break a dog of barking in an exceedingly given area, but they work best if you're home to reward your pet after they stop barking. That helps reinforce what you wish your dog to try and do. What to not do. Don't encourage your dog to bark at some noises, a door slamming, people walking by, and discourage them from barking at others. Be consistent. Never use a muzzle, or other means of constraint to stay a dog quiet for long periods, or once they aren't supervised. It are often dangerous to your pet. Debugging is extremely controversial, and is taken into account inhumane by many. It doesn't address the underlying reason behind the bucking. It's a surgical treatment within which the folds of tissue on either side of a dog's larynx, or vocal organ, are removed, leaving dogs with a raspy bark rather than a full bark. Complications are common and might be life-threatening, including breathing difficulties, higher incidence of choking, and ongoing pain. Dogs even have been known to regain their voices after the surgery. The procedure doesn't stop the bucking, it only makes it sound different.